The great hall of the Galactic Council glowed with soft blue light. Tall windows showed the stars and 3 moons of Centauri Prime. 27 alien leaders sat around a massive round table. They came from the oldest and most powerful space nations in the known galaxy. High Counselor Zaxvor stood up. His gray skin shimmered as he raised all 4 of his arms for silence. The room grew quiet. "We face a serious problem," Zaxvor said. "The humans." Whispers filled the room. Some counselors nodded. Others looked worried. "We have watched Earth for centuries," Zaxvor continued. "For most of that time, humans fought each other with simple weapons. Then everything changed." He waved one hand, and a timeline appeared in the air above the table. It showed Earth's history. In just over 100 years, they went from horse-drawn carriages to space travel. In 50 more years, they discovered faster-than-light technology that took each of our species at least 3 centuries to develop. A tall blue alien with 6 eyes spoke up. "They fight wars constantly. They consume resources at an alarming rate." "Precisely, Counselor Vextil," said Zaxvor. "Our scientists predict that at their current rate of growth, humans will dominate this galaxy within 200 years. The room erupted in concerned voices. Some counselors pounded the table with tentacles or claws. Counselor Krila, a small orange alien, stood up. "I have studied humans closely. Yes, they are violent. But they are also creative. They make art. They value freedom. Perhaps we should welcome them and let them take over." Asked another counselor. "I've seen how they treat weaker species on their own planet." Zaxvor displayed more information in the air. "Our deep space monitors picked up a new human ship last week. Their Intrepid is on its way here now with their ambassador. We must decide how to handle them before they arrive." "We should just destroy their ship," said a large rocky creature from the far side of the table. "No," said Krila. "That would start a war. Humans fight hardest when attacked." Zaxvor nodded. "We have studied their history. They are most dangerous when cornered." A thin alien with silver skin stood up. "What if we welcome them officially but work secretly to limit their growth? We control trade routes. We can restrict certain technologies. We can make sure they never become strong enough to challenge us." Many counselors nodded in agreement. Zaxvor looked pleased. "I propose Protocol Omega," he said. "We officially welcome humans to the galactic community. Meanwhile, we take steps to control their expansion. We limit what technologies they can access. We monitor their communications. If necessary, we can even place biological controls on their population." Krila jumped up. "This is wrong. We would be no better than the conquerors we claim to fear humans will become." 3 other counselors stood with Krila, but most remained seated, nodding at Zaxvor's words. "Let us vote," said Zaxvor. "All in favor of implementing Protocol Omega to contain the human threat, while officially welcoming them to our community." Arms, tentacles, and other appendages rose around the table. The vote wasn't even close. 23 in favor, 4 against, announced Zaxvor. "Protocol Omega is approved. We will begin immediately." Just as Zaxvor finished speaking, the massive doors at the end of the hall slid open. The counselors turned to look. No one was scheduled to enter during this secret session. A small group of Bikdal beings walked in. They wore crisp blue uniforms with an unfamiliar symbol on their chests. The symbol of Earth. A tall woman with dark hair led the group. She smiled politely, unaware of what she had just interrupted. "Greetings," she said in perfect galactic standard. "I'm Ambassador Diane Foster representing Earth. Our ship arrived ahead of schedule. I hope we're not interrupting anything important." The room fell completely silent. The council members stared at the humans with a mixture of shock, fear, and guilt. Ambassador Foster's smile began to fade as she noticed the tension. Behind her, Commander Eric Mitchell stepped forward protectively. Science Officer Lisa Hernandez glanced at the floating displays, her eyes widening as she recognized Earth's timeline. The humans had walked in at the worst possible moment. The silence in the council chamber lasted for what felt like minutes. Ambassador Diane Foster stood with her team at the entrance, her smile now completely gone. High Counselor Zach Zvor recovered first. He quickly waved away the floating displays showing Earth's timeline and Protocol Omega details. Ambassador Foster, he said, forcing warmth into his voice. What a pleasant surprise. We expected your arrival tomorrow. Commander Eric Mitchell stepped slightly forward, positioning himself at Foster's side. His hand rested near his sidearm. The tall man had been a soldier before becoming a ship captain, and his instincts were screaming danger. The solar winds were favorable, Foster said carefully. I apologize for our early arrival. Her eyes scanned the room, noting how many council members avoided looking directly at her. No matter, said Zach Zvor. We were just concluding some routine business. Perhaps we could meet officially tomorrow, as originally planned. Our welcome ceremony requires preparation. Science Officer Lisa Hernandez leaned close to Foster's ear. Ambassador, they were voting on something called Protocol Omega. I saw Earth's name before they removed the displays. Foster nodded slightly, then addressed the council. Of course, we are happy to wait until tomorrow for formal proceedings. Though I am curious what business concerning Earth you were discussing. The council members looked at each other nervously. Counselor Kree Law, the small orange alien who had opposed the vote, stood up. Truth is best from the beginning of any relationship, Kree Law said. The council was discussing trade opportunities, interrupted Zach Zvor. Merely preliminary thoughts on how humans might fit into our galactic economy. Foster smiled politely. I see. Well, we look forward to those discussions tomorrow. Security Chief Rodriguez will escort you to your quarters, Mitchell said firmly. The stocky man at the back of the human group stepped forward, his eyes constantly scanning the room. As the humans turned to leave, Foster caught sight of Counselor Kree Law making the subtle gesture toward a side corridor. Once outside the chamber, Foster gathered her team in a quiet alcove. Something's wrong, she said. They weren't expecting us, and they were definitely discussing something about Earth they don't want us to know. Mitchell nodded. I've ordered the Intrepid to maintain full shields and launch protocols, just in case. Good, Foster said. Rodriguez, sweep our quarters for listening devices. Hernandez, what exactly did you see on those displays? Lisa Hernandez frowned. It was brief, but I saw our technological timeline and something called Protocol Omega with containment strategies listed. It didn't look friendly. Foster's face hardened. I need to contact Earth immediately. Use the quantum communicator, not the standard channels. Back on the Intrepid, Foster activated the secure line to Earth. Vice Admiral Gregory Walsh's face appeared on the screen. His expression was serious as Foster explained what had happened. This is concerning, Walsh said, but not entirely unexpected. Our intelligence suggested some council races feared our rapid advancement. What should we do? Foster asked. Leave? Demand answers. Walsh thought for a moment. Neither. Play along. Let them think you suspect nothing. Meanwhile, we'll accelerate our defensive preparations back home. After ending the call, Foster found Commander Mitchell waiting outside her quarters. Security found listening devices in all our rooms, he reported. Leave them, Foster said, but let's do our real talking on the ship. Later that evening, as the human delegation pretended to settle in for the night, Counselor Kree Law appeared at Foster's door. Ambassador, we must speak privately, the alien whispered. Not all of us agree with Protocol Omega. Some of us believe humans deserve honesty, not control. Foster nodded. Let me get my coat. They walked to a garden area, where Kree Law disabled the surveillance with a small device. They fear you, Kree Law said simply. Your species advances too quickly, learns too fast. The Council has controlled the galaxy for 10,000 years. They don't want that to change. And what do you want? Foster asked. Kree Law's 6 fingers tapped nervously. a true alliance, not the false one they plan to offer while secretly limiting your growth. Foster considered this. Why help us? Because, Kree said, my people were once controlled the same way. We only gained true independence 300 years ago. And because I believe the galaxy needs human creativity, not just Zaxavor's order and control. Foster realized she had found an ally, and they would need every one they could get. Back on Earth, the giant orbital platform above Washington, D.C. buzzed with activity. News of the Council's secret vote had reached Earth's leadership, and they gathered in the crisis room to plan their response. President Olivia Barnes stood at the head of the table. Her gray suit matched her serious expression. "Let me be clear," she said. "The Galactic Council voted to welcome us with one hand while controlling us with the other." General Maria Sanchez nodded. "We suspected something like this might happen. The older species have always feared competition." "What are our options?" asked Foreign Secretary Jacob Warren. He was an older man with a reputation for careful thinking. Dr. Ryan Cooper, head of Earth's Advanced Technology Division, activated a display. "We have some advantages they don't know about. For the past 5 years, we've been studying pieces of alien technology from crashed scout ships." "How much have we learned?" President Barnes asked. "More than they would guess," Dr. Cooper said with a small smile. "We reverse-engineered their shield technology and improved it. We understand their communication systems better than they think." General Sanchez stepped forward. "Our fleet is small compared to theirs, but we've been building ships with innovations they haven't considered. We use hybrid technologies that combine their approaches with human creativity." President Barnes looked around the table. "We have 3 choices. We can confront them directly about Protocol Omega. We can pretend we know nothing and follow their rules. Or we can find a third path." "Confrontation could lead to war," said Warren. "We aren't ready for that. And following their rules means accepting limits on human growth," said Dr. Cooper. "We would never reach our potential." President Barnes nodded. "Then we need that third path. Here's what we're going to do. First, we launch Operation Looking Glass. I want intelligence teams gathering information across Council worlds. Second, Ambassador Foster will continue diplomatic talks as if nothing is wrong. Meanwhile, General Sanchez added, we accelerate our fleet development but keep it quiet." "Exactly," said President Barnes. "Dr. Cooper, I want your team working around the clock on that quantum shielding technology. If the Council is monitoring us, I want the ability to block them." The meeting continued for hours as they refined their strategy. By the end, Earth had a plan. They would play along with the Council's game while preparing for whatever might come next. On Centauri Prime, Ambassador Foster sat through the official welcome ceremony the next day. She smiled and spoke of friendship between Earth and the Council races. No one watching would guess she knew about Protocol Omega. Commander Mitchell stood at attention behind her, his face giving away nothing. His eyes carefully tracked every Council member, especially High Counselor Zaxvor. "We welcome humanity to the galactic community," Zaxvor said grandly. "We offer friendship and guidance as you join the great family of spacefaring species." "Earth is honored," Foster replied. "We have much to learn from your ancient civilizations." As she spoke, Foster remembered President Barnes' instructions. "Let them think we are naive. Let them think we are children who need guidance. Meanwhile, we will prepare." After the ceremony, Foster met again with Counselor Kree in the secure garden area. "They are already beginning," Kree whispered. "Trade regulations are being prepared that will limit your access to certain technologies. They will claim these rules are for everyone, but they target humans specifically." "Thank you for this information," Foster said. "Are there other species who might support us?" Kreelaw's eyes brightened. "Yes, the newer members of the Council, those admitted in the last 500 years. They also face restrictions. They might become your allies." Foster nodded. "I need names and contact information." Meanwhile, back on the Intrepid, Science Officer Lisa Hernandez made a disturbing discovery. She found tiny biological scanners hidden throughout their quarters. These devices were collecting human DNA samples. "They're studying us," she told Commander Mitchell. "Learning our biology. Perhaps looking for weaknesses." Mitchell's face darkened. "This goes beyond simple containment. They're preparing for something worse if their peaceful control fails." Earth's path forward was becoming clear. The humans would need every advantage they could find. The galaxy was more dangerous than they had imagined, but humans were good at facing danger. And they were very good at surprising those who underestimated them. 2 weeks passed since the welcome ceremony. Across Council space, the first parts of Protocol Omega quietly went into effect. New trade rules appeared. Shipping routes changed. Technology transfers to Earth faced sudden delays. Grand Admiral Fulzar, the military leader of the Council forces, stood on the bridge of his flagship. The massive ship hung in space near a major trade route to Earth. 20 other warships floated nearby. "Is the fleet in position?" he asked his second-in-command. "Yes, Admiral. All ships report ready for the training exercise." Fulzar nodded. The Council had approved positioning warships near human space under the cover of routine training. The real purpose was to show force and be ready if humans caused trouble. Meanwhile, on one of the busiest trading stations in Council space, Trade Minister Belinda Rice from Earth met with merchants from 12 different species. She was a short woman with bright eyes and a quick mind. Earth had sent her to learn about galactic trade. "These new regulations seem to affect Earth ships more than others," she said, looking at the latest rules. "Our cargo holds need to be inspected twice, while others only once." The alien merchants looked uncomfortable. One of them, a tall green being, finally spoke. "The Council claims these rules are for everyone, but you are right. They target human ships." Rice smiled. "Thank you for your honesty. I wonder what else they aren't telling us." Far from the trade station, Special Agent Kyle Bennett worked in deep cover. Earth intelligence had sent him to investigate Council research facilities. He looked like any other human tourist, taking pictures and asking innocent questions. Today he visited a science complex on a small moon. His guide proudly showed him various laboratories. "And this area is developing new medicines," the guide said, pointing to a sealed section. Bennett noticed the security was much higher there. He also saw the word OMEGA on a passing scientist's badge. Later, he used special equipment to scan the building. The readings shocked him. They were working with samples of human DNA and testing various compounds against it. "This isn't medicine," he whispered to himself. "This is biological weapons research." On Centauri Prime, Ambassador Foster requested a special meeting with the full Council. This was unusual for a new species. "What does she want?" High Counselor Zax War asked his assistants. "She claims to have concerns about integration issues," one replied. "But we don't know her real purpose." Counselor Vosseth, the leader of the anti-human faction, pounded his tentacle on the table. "She knows something. The humans are not as simple as we thought." Zaxvor looked troubled. "We must proceed carefully. Deny her request for now. Say the full Council is too busy." But Foster was prepared for this. She began meeting with representatives from newer Council species. She told them how Earth faced unfair restrictions. Many of these younger species faced similar treatment. "We should work together," she told the ambassador from Proxima Centauri. "All newer species deserve equal treatment." Word of these meetings reached Zaxvor. He realized Foster was building alliances. This was not part of the plan. Humans were supposed to remain isolated and controllable. "We may need to accelerate Protocol Omega," he told the Emergency Committee. "The humans are moving faster than expected." Grand Admiral Fulzar agreed. "My fleet is ready. We could blockade Earth today if ordered." But Counselor Kree-Law objected. "A blockade would be seen as an act of war. Are we ready for that?" "Humans have only a small fleet," Fulzar said dismissively. "They are no match for Council forces." Unknown to the Council, Earth was not sitting idle. Dr. Cooper's team had completed the quantum shielding technology. Earth ships could now communicate without Council monitoring. President Barnes ordered all ships equipped with the new shields. General Sanchez reviewed the latest fleet reports. We have 47 warships ready. More are being built. We aren't strong enough to win a direct fight yet, but we can defend Earth. Special Agent Bennett's report about biological weapons reached Earth. President Barnes looked grim as she read it. They're preparing to eliminate us if they can't control us, she said. We need more time. The galaxy was moving toward a crisis point faster than anyone had expected. After 3 weeks of delays, the Galactic Council finally agreed to Ambassador Foster's request for a special meeting. They could no longer ignore the growing coalition of newer species supporting Earth. The Great Hall was packed. All 27 council members attended, along with representatives from 30 other species. High Counselor Zaxwar looked nervous as he called the meeting to order. Ambassador Foster has requested this unusual session. The Council recognizes Earth's representative. Foster walked to the center of the hall. Ambassador Nathan Phillips stood beside her, carrying a small black device. They made a powerful team. Foster with her diplomatic skills, and Phillips with his deep knowledge of alien cultures. "Thank you, High Counselor," Foster said with a polite smile. "Earth is grateful for the warm welcome we have received since joining the galactic community." Counselors shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Some looked relieved, thinking perhaps humans truly knew nothing about Protocol Omega. However, Foster continued, her voice growing firmer. "We must address some concerns." She nodded to Phillips, who activated the black device. Suddenly, a recording played throughout the hall. It was Zaxvor's voice from the original meeting. "I propose Protocol Omega. We officially welcome humans while taking steps to control their expansion." Gasps filled the room. Council members looked at each other in shock. The recording continued, revealing the entire plan to limit human growth while pretending friendship. When it finished, Foster spoke again. "Earth has known about Protocol Omega since the beginning. We walked into your chamber at the moment of your vote." The hall erupted in chaos. Counselor Vosef pointed accusingly at Krila. You told them everything." "The truth was always going to come out," Krila replied calmly. High Counselor Zaxvor tried to regain control. "This is being taken out of context. The Council acted to preserve galactic stability." Meanwhile, on the bridge of his flagship, Grand Admiral Thulzar received urgent messages about the meeting. "Human ships are moving," his officer reported. "They appear to be taking defensive positions." "Order the fleet to combat readiness," Thulzar commanded. "I need authorization for preemptive strikes." Back in the council hall, Foster was not finished. Earth wanted peaceful relations. Instead, we discovered unfair trade restrictions. She displayed evidence gathered by Trade Minister Reyes. We found military vessels positioned near our trade routes. A star map showed the Council fleet locations, and most disturbing, we uncovered this. Phillips activated the device again. Now it showed images from the biological research facility that Agent Bennett had investigated. The evidence clearly showed weapons being designed specifically to harm humans. The hall grew silent with shock. Even many council members had not known about the biological weapons. An ancient counselor named Ivrak slowly stood up. He rarely spoke at meetings, but when he did, everyone listened. "I have served on this council for 800 years, he said in a raspy voice. "I have seen this before." Ivrak activated the central display. Ancient records appeared, showing similar containment protocols used against other species centuries ago. The Rigelians, the Tausetians, even the Aldebarans, all were subject to control when they first joined the council, Duvrak said. "This is how the oldest species maintain power." This revelation stunned the younger species representatives. Many of them stood up in protest. Foster seized the moment. "Earth does not seek dominance. We seek partnership." She turned to Phillips, who unveiled Earth's proposal. "A reformed council," Phillips explained. equal representation for all species, transparent governance, no secret protocols. Chief Engineer Samantha Powell, who had joined the human delegation, stepped forward. She was brilliant and direct. Earth is willing to share our technological innovations freely, she said, displaying designs for clean energy systems. We believe cooperation benefits everyone more than competition. As the council members argued among themselves, Grand Admiral Fulzar's message requesting strike authorization arrived. The future of human-council relations now balanced on a knife's edge. While the council meeting descended into heated arguments, events elsewhere pushed the galaxy closer to conflict. In a distant sector, a rogue commander loyal to Councillor Vosseth decided to force the issue. His warship, the Relentless, opened fire on a small human outpost. The outpost sent desperate calls for help. Under attack. Council warship firing. Civilians present. Captain Julia Morgan of the human warship Defiance received the distress call. Her ship was the closest to the outpost. Battle stations, she ordered. Maximum speed to the outpost. The Defiance arrived just as the outpost's shields were failing. The Relentless was a much larger ship, nearly twice the size of the human vessel. They're targeting the habitat ring, reported her weapons officer. If those shields fail, 300 civilians will die. Morgan's face hardened. Target their weapons systems only. Show them what humans can do. The Defiance moved with surprising speed. Earth's engineers had modified its engines beyond standard council designs. The human ship fired precise shots that disabled the Relentless main weapons array while avoiding its power core. The council ship, expecting an easy victory, was caught off guard by the human vessel's effectiveness. After a brief but intense battle, the Relentless was forced to withdraw, its weapons disabled and its commander shocked by the human ship's capabilities. News of the battle spread quickly. Grand Admiral Fulzar received the reports with growing concern. The human ship disabled the Relentless without destroying it, he told his officers. Their weapons technology is more advanced than our intelligence suggested. Back on Centauri Prime, the council meeting was interrupted by news of the attack. Ambassador Foster received a message and stood up abruptly. "Is this your idea of peaceful coexistence?" she demanded. A council warship just attacked a human outpost with 300 civilian scientists and families. High Counselor Zach Swart looked genuinely surprised. "We issued no such order." Councillor Vosseth remained suspiciously silent. His faction had grown desperate to stop the humans before they gained more allies. "The attack was stopped by a single human vessel," Foster continued. "We defended ourselves with minimal force. This shows Earth's commitment to peace, even when provoked." Across council space, protests broke out as news spread about Protocol Omega and the attack on the human outpost. Many citizens of younger council species saw themselves in humanity's position. They too had faced restrictions and control. On Earth, Director Frank Daniels of Earth Intelligence met urgently with President Barnes. His team had decrypted more council files, revealing the full extent of Protocol Omega. "It's worse than we thought," he said grimly. The final stage included genetic modifications to make humans more docile. They'd done this to other species before. President Barnes' face showed cold anger. "Send this to Ambassador Foster immediately. The galaxy needs to see what they planned." Grand Admiral Fulzar faced a growing crisis as his fleet captains received the news. Several refused to follow orders targeting humans. "This violates our oath to protect all sentient life," one captain told him. "I will defend council worlds if attacked, but I will not fire first on humans." The Grand Admiral realized his unified force was crumbling. Council military leadership was splitting into factions, just as the political leadership had. On Centauri Prime, moderate council members began working with Foster and Phillips. Councillor Miralax, respected for her wisdom, helped draft an emergency peace proposal. "We must reform, or we will destroy ourselves," she told the council. "The humans have exposed problems that have existed for thousands of years." As the council debated, President Barnes addressed the citizens of Earth via a worldwide broadcast. She revealed the truth about Protocol Omega, but urged calm. "We stand at a crossroads," she said. "We can choose fear or cooperation. Earth chooses cooperation, but we will never accept control. We extend our hand in peace, but that hand is strong and ready to defend our freedom." Throughout the galaxy, dozens of worlds declared their support for Earth's position. The once unified Council now faced the greatest challenge in its long history. 1 year later, the rebuilt Grand Assembly Hall on Centauri Prime glowed with new light. The old round table was gone. In its place stood a star-shaped table with equal spaces for all species. Above the hall, a dome of clear crystal showed the stars, a reminder of what united them. Chancellor Adam Reed, the newly elected human representative to the Reformed Council, stood at his place. Next to him, Ambassador Diane Foster watched with quiet pride. They had walked a difficult path to reach this day. "The first session of the Reformed Galactic Council is now open," announced Elder Koldrak. The ancient Aldebaran had replaced Zaxwar as the ceremonial leader. Unlike his predecessor, he believed in true equality among species. Chancellor Reed addressed the assembly. "1 year ago, humanity discovered a plan to control our future. Today we gather as equal partners in a new beginning." Around the table, representatives from 52 species nodded in agreement. The council had expanded to include many who had been kept out before. "The former Protocol Omega has been fully dismantled," Reed continued. "Its architects have faced justice according to our new laws. Former High Counselor Zax IV and Counselor Vosseth had been removed from power. They now worked in community service roles, learning the value of the equality they had once feared. In the medical section of the hall, human doctors worked alongside alien scientists. Dr. Elena Martinez, who had once discovered the biological weapons program aimed at humans, now led a team developing cures for diseases affecting all species. The Genome Mapping Project has identified a treatment for the Rigelian plague, she announced to the Medical Council. Earth is sharing this breakthrough freely with all worlds. Trade Minister Belinda Rice presented the new economic agreements. The charts showed growing prosperity across all Council worlds. "By removing artificial barriers, we've created growth for everyone," she explained. "No species needs to fear being left behind." Security Director Elena Martinez demonstrated the transparent monitoring system that had replaced the secret surveillance of the old Council. "This system protects all species equally," she said. "The security feeds are available to all member worlds. No more secret watching." As the session continued, Elder Koldrak rose to speak. His voice was soft, but carried wisdom earned over centuries. "I have lived 900 years, he said. "I have seen empires rise and fall. Always, they fell because of fear. The old Council feared humans because you were different. You solved problems in new ways. You moved quickly when we moved slowly. What we should have seen was not a threat, but a gift." Ambassador Foster smiled at the elder's words. She remembered the day they had walked into the council chamber and discovered Protocol Omega, how close they had come to conflict. In a quiet moment during a break, Foster spoke with Reed. "Did you ever think we'd end up here when we first walked into that council meeting?" Reed shook his head. "Never. I thought we were heading for war." "What changed everything, do you think?" Foster asked. "Transparency," Reed said simply. "Once the truth was exposed, most species recognized the injustice. Even many of the older council races were shocked by what their leaders had planned." Their conversation was interrupted when Ambassador Xin Ta, representing the coalition of younger species, approached with urgent news. "Our deep space probes have detected something troubling," Xin Ta said. "An unknown force is moving at the edge of the galaxy. It appears to be destroying everything in its path." The three looked at the data Xin Ta provided. Something was coming, something that threatened all life in the galaxy. The old council would have kept this secret, Xin Ta said. They would have tried to face it alone. Reed nodded. But that's not who we are now. We'll face this together, all species, all worlds united. As the Reformed Council gathered to discuss this new threat, Foster realized that humanity's greatest contribution wasn't technology or innovation. It was insisting on truth and equality when faced with control and secrecy. The galaxy would need all its peoples working together to face what was coming. And thanks to humans walking into that council chamber 1 year ago, they would face it as equals, not as masters and servants.